Hello there, my name is Gordon McCrory. I am the Happiness Guy, and this is a video all about my experience of journaling so far. Now, I'm relatively new to journaling. I'm only 7 weeks or so in. So far, I've managed to not miss a day. In fact, let me share with you how I managed to not miss a day. The first thing I do is I got myself a journal that is relatively bright. It feels nice, it's a colour that I like, and every kind of day I just leave it in the same place. It sits on my dining room table. It's got my glasses and a pencil kind of there, and so it's ready to go every time. And I've tagged it onto another habit I have. I always have a kind of coffee in the morning, so I'll sit with my coffee and journal kind of every morning. So within the journal, kind of what does it look like? Well, along the top, obviously there's a date, and then there's a series of tick boxes that I put in. And I've been picking off habits of people that I either admire or people that or habits that I think are really helpful to have in life, and just kind of stacking them up one after another to try and get this great life. And so along the top now, what I do is I list what those habits are and I'll tick as I go. So those habits include just now meditation. I'll do that every morning and sometimes more than once a day. I'll have a cold shower, kind of really cold for at least 3 minutes every day. I'm now journaling, and I've got a gratitude practice, so that's within the journal, and I'll talk about that in a moment. I work out most days. I go for a walk almost every day. And in addition to that, there's things like listening to music, reading personal development type information, and Netflix, just a little bit of kind of recreational stuff. So along the top of my journal, I've got all these little boxes, and I just tick as I'm going. Obviously, I don't get to tick them all kind of if I'm journaling first thing in the morning, but I'll come back and I'll tick them as I go through. Often I've worked out before I journal, and when I'm working out, I listen to music. So I'm getting to tick lots of things, and so it feels like you're already winning. Before you get anywhere near work in the day, you've done a lot of things for you, and that's important. So next in my journal is the structure for me is, what 3 things am I grateful for today? And of course there might be more than 3, but I make sure that I get at least 3. And you just sit and you think and you connect to that, and that feels good, and it's forcing your brain into this, all right, what's good? You know, and that's kind of useful because there's plenty that we can focus on that's not good. So what's good? And so there's my gratitude practice. So I actually managed to add a practical gratitude practice in at the same time as adding a journaling kind of habit, if you like. And so it's kind of like 2 for the price of 1. So that's been really, really useful. And then once I've got what I'm grateful for, and I think that's really helped my relationship as well, whilst I remember, because I'm often really grateful for my girlfriend. And so if you write that out, then it reminds you. And I think that kind of means that you take people far less for granted. Okay, after that, next questions are physically, mentally, and emotionally. Where am I at? How am I feeling? And so I'll scan my body and I'll think, have I got any pain? Kind of, is there any sensations that don't feel quite right? I've got a thing that goes on with my neck. I'll not bore you with the details, but it means that my fingertips can sometimes get a little bit numb. Or if I've been working out too much, body might feel a bit sore. So it lets me just check in and see where I am there. Mentally, it's like, how busy is my mind and what's the quality of my thoughts, which goes a little bit towards then emotional, because when I'm talking about the quality of my thoughts, I'm thinking about positive, kind of an optimistic or negative, and am I feeling, and also kind of emotionally, like what emotions have I got? Am I feeling low? Am I feeling kind of tired? Am I feeling sad? Am I feeling positive? Am I feeling upbeat? So it's physically, mentally, and emotionally, how am I feeling? And really, the usefulness of that is that that's you checking in with you. Imagine it was a best friend, how are you? But it's not just fine, it's like, well, look, here's ways of saying I'm actually really, I'm this, and I'm this, and I'm this. And from that, you can act skillfully and say, well, what one thing could I do? What's the priority there, physical, mental, or emotional? And then what one thing could I do to improve that? And this video is not about what I would then go on and do, but it's just to say that it's a really good framework to check in with yourself. And that checking in with yourself is very much then it's your relationship with you. And our relationship with ourselves is a really big deal. So if you're checking in with yourself on a day-to-day basis, you're going to like you more, and you're taking care of you, and you're paying attention to you. So I think that it's really, really important to do that. And then after, how am I feeling physically, mentally, and emotionally, it would then be just writing kind of freestyle, kind of what else springs to mind, what happened maybe yesterday that was relevant, or what am I thinking about today that I want to kind of prioritize. And I missed out, I actually track my weight in my journal too, and I track whether it's gone up or down and any comments on that or focus for that particular day, because my weight for me is a real good barometer of if I'm on top of things or not. If my weight's kind of gradually drifting up the way, I'm often kind of rushing about a bit and I'm behind the curve and I'm maybe comfort eating. So I track my weight in there too. So it's a good daily practice for me. The other thing that journaling has been really useful for is it creates this consistency and focus from one week to the next. So rather than it just being every day is a discrete day and there's no real big master plan, it's like, well, right, well, at the end of the week, I'll review how my week went, and then I'll determine kind of what's important for the following week. So let's say a particular area didn't happen, maybe I'd got a bit injured and I wasn't moving as much, but now I'm healed. It's like, right, okay, the priority this week is making sure you get your 4 or 5 workouts in, or the priority this week is driving your weight down a little bit, or the priority this week is kind of making sure that you meditate between your sessions at work because it's going to be a really busy week. So you basically determine what your priorities are going to be, and then it gives you a framework and a structure to get the best out of you. And when I combine that with some of my productivity habits, what I've found is that I'm so on top of things. I feel like I'm really in control, as much as we ever can be in control, of course. And yeah, so however many weeks in, kind of about 7 weeks in now, I think it is, haven't missed a day, absolutely really enjoying journaling, really enjoying the gratitude part of it. It's made a really big difference, and I guess if I had a regret, it's that I'm somewhat old at this stage, and it took me a very, very long time to find this and do it. But yeah, I can see how something like journaling can be life-changing. And actually, with that life-changing thing in mind, just one last thing. There was this story about, a real thing happened, the artificial intelligence and an early computer program that was designed to try and in some way replace or help therapists or make therapy more kind of accessible to the masses. And the computer would do things like it would say, "How are you feeling today, Gordon?" And you would type in how you were feeling, and then the computer would say, "Oh, I'm sorry to hear that," and or because it was smart enough that it knew how to respond in a fairly basic way, and then it would ask you another question. And what they found is, even though people were using a computer program and they knew it wasn't a real person, it really helped them feel better. Now, most of us can't afford to be in therapy, or don't even like the idea of being in therapy, but being heard, having a relationship and a conversation with yourself, and getting your stuff that's inside out, I think can make a massive difference to your life. So yeah, I can't speak highly enough of journaling. I really recommend you give it a go. If you get any questions or thoughts or comments, or you do it a different way, I'd love to hear from you. And equally so, if there's anything that you're challenged with or kind of struggling with and you think that I might be able to help, just get in touch. I would love to help. Other than that, have a fabulous day, and I'll speak to you again soon. Take care. Bye-bye.